C1. You are listening at FameTV.info. In front of Xiaoli, everything was dark and his four limbs were ice-cold. He only felt the rumbling sound of water beside his ears. Without noticing, the water had entered his lungs through his nose, making him feel as if he was suffocating. Where is this? Why does it feel like I'm in the water? I can't die. Relying on his strong instinct to survive, Xiaoli immediately took a deep breath. With both of his hands, he swam upwards, trying his best to reach the surface of the water. Resisting the coldness of the water, he crawled to the shore, and coughed loudly, to the point of coughing out the water in his lungs. Xiaoli laid on the shore, breathing with great difficulty. He truly did not have any strength left. That wasn't she knocked away by a car. Why would she be here? Could he have arrived at the legendary river of forgetfulness? Xiaoli was still muttering in his heart, but when he raised his head and saw the scene in front of him, he was completely shocked that it turned out that this pool of water was close to the cliff, and on both sides of the cliff were green vegetation, lush and verdant. A clear stream flowed between the cliffs, as if from the heavens, and converged along the bluestone wall into the boiling deep pool. What shocked Xiaoli even more was, there was still a living person falling down the clear stream. With a loud thump, he landed in the deep pool. Not long after, a head popped out of the water. It was a young man who was trying his best to paddle on the shore. As he neared the shore, he seemed to lose his strength as his body slowly sunk. Where did this person come from? Could he be like her, suddenly appearing in this world? Seeing that the man's head was about to sink, Xiaoli did not care. Taking a deep breath, he waded into the ice-cold water again, dragging the man's body. He struggled to drag him towards the shore. The man tried his best to open his eyes, but upon seeing Xiaoli, a strange look flashed past his eyes, and he pushed her onto the shore. At the same time, his body fell heavily into the water, creating a splash. Something's wrong. You saved me out of the kindness of your heart, and now you still push me down. Xiaoli felt his back being rubbed uncomfortably by the little stone, staring at the man in front of him, swearing angrily. Leave me. Get farther away. Looking at the little girl in front of him who was not much, the man covered the coldness in his eyes. He was on guard, but he seemed to be exhausted. Not long after, he fainted completely and dived into the water. Serves you right, push me. However, he did not want this man to truly drown in his own water. When he approached the man again, Xiaoli was shocked that he hadn't been able to see it clearly just now, but now he saw that the man's chest clothes had already been dyed red with blood and his lips had been frozen purple. Xiaoli gasped for breath, holding on to his last bit of strength. He finally managed to drag the man into the water. Hey, wake up! Xiaoli lightly slapped the man in front of him on the face and shouted. Unfortunately, the man did not have any reaction. The man in front of her was quite handsome. He had wheat-colored skin, thick eyelashes, and a handsome nose, but he didn't know what was good for him. He was kind enough to save her and even push her. Xiaoli stopped thinking about it. Seeing that there were no one around, he carried out a simple inspection of the man who had fallen into the water. He received a cut on his abdomen. The cut was very deep, the flesh was all opened up, his body was filled with various abrasions, and there were even some scars from before, causing people to be alarmed. Xiaoli hid the man in the water behind a large tree not far away and habitually touched his neck. That's great. The pendant on her neck was still there, and the heart-shaped pendant was hiding her treasure, which was her medical space. Her right thumb was covering the front of the pendant, and after 3 seconds of fingerprint identification, Xiaoli entered the space and took out the medicine kit. After disinfection, sewing, bandaging, and smearing some medicine on his wounds, Xiaoli hid behind another large tree and placed the first aid kit back into its space. After exiting the space, Xiaoli felt waves of swelling pain in his head. Many memory fragments that didn't belong to her, all burrowed into her head, causing her to unconsciously prop herself up on the tree trunk and kneel on the ground. She was originally a 26th-century doctor of biopharmaceutical and had just worked with a technology company to develop a space for small quantities of painkillers. However, before the painkillers even went on the market, she was hit by a car and sent flying. She was reborn into this peasant girl who had the same name as her. The whole family lived in the Tianshui village for generations, and originally, they could barely eat by relying on a few acres of land. However, as a father, Xia Manjiang loved to gamble, and owed him a large amount of debts. His mother, the Li's, was always in bed, and his younger brother, Xia Qing, needed to be taken care of. Now that the casino people were trying to force their way into a debt, the girl was forced to jump into the river to commit suicide. Xia Li was concerned about the injuries of the man who had fallen into the water, so he returned to his side to take care of it. So it turns out that a little girl like you ran all the way here. Tell me, where did your father Xia Manjiang go? Xia Li looked up and saw a few tall men, who were chasing after her. It was too late for Xia Li to bring her with him when he wanted to escape. The leader of the group rushed to her front in the blink of an eye and picked her up by the collar to sneak her up. You! Let me go! Xia Li tried her best to struggle free, but the person in front of her was too strong, causing her to be unable to move an inch. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.